When I was back in, I think it must have been early 2000s, maybe '02, God had assigned me to pray for the Supreme Court. And I was going in and out of D.C. frequently. I knew that at that point in time, we'll say, maybe still, but the greatest stronghold of the enemy ruling our nation was in the Supreme Court. That's really easy to see when you understand, when you look at abortion, 60 million babies, God removed from the public square, from government, and now the redefinition of marriage. There's no gate that has allowed more evil to enter our nation than that Supreme Court. First time I ever visited, the Lord said, on my way to it, he said, now I'm going to show you where the strong man lives over the nation. And so we've been in a prolonged battle that's been going on for quite some time to shift the court. And whether, regardless of what you think about President Trump, one of the primary reasons he's in there is the court, to shift the Supreme Court, to appoint the right judges, to finish the process of shifting that court. But back in 2000, we went through a minor shift. And when President Bush was in office, then Sandra Day O'Connor resigned. And then shortly after that, Rehnquist died. But let me just back up and say, I was back in Colorado between visits to Washington, and a friend of mine sent me a word from the Lord for me, an assignment. And he said, I had a vision, and in the vision I saw you standing at the Supreme Court decreeing 5 things. And in the vision, he heard exactly what they were, and he wrote them down. And he sent them to me. He said, I saw you there decreeing these 5 things. And I bore witness to it. I knew it was the Lord. I felt this is right. But I looked at my calendar, and he said, you have to do this right away. I looked at my calendar, and I couldn't find a window to go into Washington. Now, I would have had to cancel somebody or, just really disrupt things. And finally, the Lord just reminded me that the next week I would be flying through Baltimore. And Baltimore is only 45 minutes from Washington. So I told my office, my staff, I said, change my flight. Get me at least a 6-hour layover in Baltimore. I'll go jump on the train, ride to D.C., make these decrees, and then get on the train and go back to the airport. So that's what I did. All by myself. I was alone. I felt good about that. Just didn't need an entourage. When I made my decree, made each one of those, I made all 5 decrees 4 times on each side of the court. Both sides, front and back. And I'm telling you this because the last of the 5 decrees was the siege against the court is about to become a suddenly. The siege is about to become a suddenly. Let me just say this. If there is no siege, there is no suddenly. And within 2 weeks of that, O'Connor resigned, to everyone's surprise. But not only in that sort of, anytime there's a vacancy on the court, everything goes just into hyper overdrive in the nation, in the government. Because D.C. and anybody that's active in government knows how critical those seats are. 9 people can shape the destiny of a nation. And when you think about a 5-4 decision, one vote, one person can shift a nation. So it was already really hyped up when she resigned, and everybody was really engaged. We were all praying. And before that seat could even be filled, Rehnquist died. And all of a sudden, we had 2 seats empty. A siege became a suddenly.